Rekindling the Spark, a gynecologist on how self-care boosts intimacy and confidence after 60. Have you ever gazed into the mirror and had the unsettling thought, I don't quite feel like myself anymore? Perhaps the idea of intimacy now feels distant and remote, or you have noticed a quiet erosion of confidence in your own body since the onset of menopause. If any of this sounds familiar, please know that you are not alone. And the surprising truth is that the way you choose to care for yourself day in and day out may hold the very key to changing everything. I am Dr. Lily Stones, a gynecologist with over 3 decades of experience dedicated to helping women navigate every single stage of their lives. And today, I want to share with you how the practice of self-care does not just protect your physical body, it can actively boost your capacity for intimacy and completely rebuild your confidence after menopause. So often, women in their 60s confide in me, Doctor, I genuinely thought that intimacy was over for me. I believed that feeling attractive and connected was a part of my life that I simply had to leave in the past. But I have witnessed, over and over again, that when women begin to practice consistent and mindful self-care, hydrating their bodies, using appropriate moisturizers, moving their bodies with kindness, practicing pelvic floor exercises, and even embracing gentle forms of intimacy, the resulting changes extend far beyond mere physical comfort. They begin to rediscover a sense of joy and profound connection. They start to carry themselves with more confidence, and they come to realize that intimacy does not simply disappear with age. It beautifully transforms. Allow me to share a story with you. A patient whom I will call Karen, aged 66, came to my office feeling utterly defeated. She said, Doctor, I don't even want my husband to touch me anymore. It just feels as though my body is completely closed off. She was convinced that her marriage had lost its essential spark, and she confessed to feeling entirely invisible. But when we worked together to create a simple, manageable self-care plan, focusing on proper hydration, regular pelvic floor exercises, and the use of a gentle moisturizer, she gradually began to notice profound changes. Within a few months, she told me with tears of gratitude welling in her eyes, I don't just feel better physically, I feel closer to my husband again. We laugh together, we hold hands, and I no longer shrink away when he reaches for me. Karen's story is by no means a rare occurrence. According to the esteemed Mayo Clinic, women who actively maintain intimacy and a practice of self-care after menopause consistently report higher levels of life satisfaction, lower levels of stress, and significantly improved confidence. And it is not just about the act of sex. It is about the beneficial hormones, like oxytocin and endorphins, which are released during touch and various forms of intimacy. These feel-good chemicals work to reduce anxiety, elevate your mood, and create a deep sense of connection that radiates through every single part of your life. Think of self-care as nurturing a small seed in a garden. The care you provide does not just affect the seed itself, it enriches the soil, which in turn allows the entire garden to flourish. When you care for your body with intention, that nurturing energy touches your relationships, your self-confidence, your physical health, and even your fundamental outlook on the aging process. In this episode, we will explore exactly how the practice of self-care enhances intimacy and confidence after menopause. I will explain the medical science that underpins this connection. I will share real patient stories of incredible transformation, and I will give you practical, actionable steps that you can apply in your own life. By the end of our time together, you will see that self-care is not just about avoiding discomfort, it is about reclaiming your personal spark, your joy, and your profound dignity as a woman. So, let me ask you, do you currently believe that self-care is only about preventing problems, or could it in fact be the very key to restoring intimacy and confidence in your life? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. I promise you, your words could give a surge of courage to another woman who feels as though she has lost that vital part of herself. Stay with me, because what we are about to uncover may very well change the way you see self-care forever. When I sit with women in my office, I hear the same recurring themes again and again. They do not lack love for their partners, and they certainly do not lack the desire to feel good in their own skin. What they often lack is confidence, and most of the time that erosion of confidence grows directly out of very real, very common barriers that tend to arrive after menopause. The first and most immediate barrier is physical discomfort. When the delicate tissues of the body become thin and dry, An act that was once pleasurable can shift into something that is painful. A single painful encounter can leave a lasting, indelible mark of fear. I have seen women withdraw from intimacy completely because they do not want to risk experiencing that pain again. But here is the profound truth. Discomfort is not a sign that intimacy is over. It is a signal that your body requires more dedicated care. The Cleveland Clinic reports that more than half of all postmenopausal women experience some degree of vaginal dryness, yet very few of them ever seek help. Many simply accept it as a normal part of the aging process, but it does not have to be. The second barrier is emotional silence. Women often do not talk about their intimate struggles even with their closest friends, and sometimes not even with their partners. They bottle up their feelings, fearing judgment or profound embarrassment. This silence serves to isolate them, making them feel as though they are the only ones going through this particular challenge. I recall a patient named Denise, aged 69, who told me, "I honestly thought I was broken. None of my friends ever mentioned having these kinds of problems, so I just assumed it was only me." When I assured her that millions of women share her exact experience, she cried with a palpable sense of relief. Sometimes the greatest healing begins not with medicine, but with the simple, courageous act of breaking the silence. The third barrier is body image. After menopause, many women look at their bodies and see only what has changed: the wrinkles, the softness, the subtle shift in their shape. They forget to see what remains strong, alive, and beautiful. This loss of body confidence inevitably seeps into their experience of intimacy. If you do not feel attractive and at home in your own skin, it becomes incredibly difficult to let someone else see you as desirable. According to the Mayo Clinic, a poor body image is one of the strongest predictors of reduced sexual satisfaction after the menopausal transition. And the fourth barrier is the insidious belief that it's too late. This is the barrier that breaks my heart the most. Women tell me, "Doctor, I'm too old for intimacy," or "My time for that has passed." They effectively write themselves off, not because their bodies have actually failed them, but because our society has whispered for generations that intimacy belongs only to the young. But here is what both modern science and decades of my own patient care tell us. Intimacy does not have an expiration date. With the right kind of self-care, women in their 60s, 70s, and even their 80s can rediscover a profound sense of closeness, confidence, and joy. Let me tell you about one of my patients, Margaret, aged 71. She had not been intimate with her husband in nearly a decade. She told me quite bluntly, "That part of our marriage is dead." But when we began to address her physical dryness with simple moisturizing techniques, added in some pelvic floor exercises, and encouraged gentle forms of touch without any pressure or expectation, everything began to shift. Margaret returned to my office months later with a smile I had not seen on her face before. She said, "Doctor, it feels like my husband and I are dating again." Her story powerfully proves that the barriers we often think are permanent can, in fact, be dismantled with awareness and consistent, compassionate care. Think of these barriers as a tangled knot of threads. Over time it gets tighter, woven from strands of pain, silence, self-doubt, and limiting beliefs. But here is the good news. Every knot can be untangled. And when you start with the simple act of self-care, hydration, moisturizing, movement, and gentle intimacy with yourself, you begin to loosen those threads, one by one, letting the light back in. So let me ask you, which of these barriers feels most familiar to you? Is it physical discomfort, silence, body image, or the belief that it is simply too late? Please share your reflections in the comments. You may find that simply naming your barrier is the very first step toward breaking it down. And please stay with me, because in the next part we will explore the practical, natural solutions that not only ease these barriers but actually build a bridge back to intimacy and confidence. Now that we have uncovered the common barriers, let's talk about how to move past them. Because here is the empowering truth. Intimacy and confidence do not just come back on their own. They return when you take consistent, practical, and deliberate steps to care for your body. And the best part is, these steps are simple, they are natural, and they are accessible to every single woman. The first solution is a commitment to hydration and gentle moisturizing. It may sound incredibly basic, but restoring your physical comfort often begins with these fundamentals. Drinking water throughout the day helps to support your tissues from the inside, while using a high-quality, fragrance-free vaginal moisturizer a few times a week works to restore elasticity on the outside. One of my patients, Joyce, aged 68, came to me completely convinced that intimacy was impossible for her because of the pain she experienced. When she began to moisturize regularly, she was absolutely amazed. She told me, "Doctor, I don't dread physical closeness anymore. I actually look forward to it." Comfort is the absolute foundation of confidence, and moisturizing is one of the simplest and most effective ways to reclaim it. The second solution is incorporating pelvic floor exercises. These small, targeted movements can create truly significant results. By strengthening your body's foundation, you can gain better control over leakage, improve your circulation, and even increase your physical sensation. According to the Mayo Clinic, women who practice daily Kegels often notice a marked improvement in just a matter of weeks. I advise my patients to start small, 10 squeezes in the morning and 10 at night. Link them to an existing routine, like brushing your teeth, so that they become an automatic habit. One patient, Helen, aged 70, joked with me, "Kegels are my secret weapon. I can do them anywhere and no one even knows." That sense of personal empowerment builds not just physical strength, but also a deep well of confidence. The third solution is engaging in gentle, regular movement. You do not need to run a marathon or get a gym membership. A 20-minute walk, some gentle yoga stretches, or the practice of Tai Chi can completely transform how your body feels. The National Institutes of Health has highlighted that regular movement improves overall circulation, which directly supports your intimate health. And there is a profound emotional benefit too. Exercise triggers the release of endorphins, the body's natural mood lifters that make you feel truly alive. I often tell my patients, motion is like a lotion for your entire body. When you move, you are not just protecting your joints, you are actively nourishing your capacity for intimacy. The fourth solution is embracing intimacy without any sense of pressure. Intimacy is not only about intercourse, it is about connection, about touch, and about the feeling of being truly seen by another person. Start small, holding hands, a gentle back rub, or even mindful self-pleasure. The Cleveland Clinic notes that regular stimulation helps to keep the tissues flexible and is crucial for maintaining healthy blood flow. I once worked with a couple in their 70s who felt that intimacy had completely vanished from their relationship. I encouraged them to start with just 10 minutes of non-sexual touch each night, simply holding one another, massaging each other's shoulders, and being fully present. Weeks later, they returned to my office smiling, saying, "We found our closeness again without ever forcing it." When intimacy is approached with gentleness and patience, it has a way of growing naturally. The fifth solution is to actively reframe your body image. This one can be more challenging, but it is so incredibly important. Stop comparing your body to your 20-year-old self. Instead, I encourage you to celebrate the incredible strength and wisdom that it carries today. I ask my patients to stand in front of a mirror once a week and to name one thing they genuinely appreciate about their body. Strong legs that have carried them through decades of life, hands that have raised children, a smile that can still light up a room. True confidence does not come from achieving perfection, it comes from a deep sense of gratitude for the body you live in right now. Together, these 5 solutions create a sturdy bridge over the barriers we talked about earlier. Moisturizing directly addresses physical discomfort. Pelvic floor exercises and regular movement help to combat the fear of leakage and weakness. Gentle intimacy works to heal the silence and reconnects you to your body. And actively reframing your body image replaces any sense of shame with a well-deserved pride. One step at a time, they will lead you back to a place of intimacy and confidence. So here is my invitation to you. Choose just one of these solutions and make a commitment to trying it this week. Maybe it is buying a high-quality moisturizer, practicing 10 Kegels, or taking a 15-minute walk after dinner. Which one feels the most doable for you right now? Please share it in the comments, because declaring your choice is the very first step to making it real. And your words might be the very thing that encourages another woman to begin too. Stay with me, because in the next part I will share the transformation story of a woman who applied these very habits and discovered that intimacy after menopause can be more fulfilling than she ever imagined. To see how these solutions truly work in a real-life context, allow me to share with you the journey of one of my patients, a woman whose transformation still inspires me to this day. Her name was Rosa. She was 69 years old, and a doting grandmother of 4. When she first came to see me, she sat quietly in my office, her shoulders slumped in a posture of defeat. She said, "Dr. Stones, I don't feel like myself anymore. I don't feel attractive, and I have completely stopped being close to my husband. I avoid intimacy because it hurts, and I hate the way I look now. I feel completely invisible." Rosa's story is not unique. A great many women feel this way after menopause, disconnected from their bodies, withdrawn from intimacy, and profoundly uncertain if change is even possible. But instead of accepting this as an inevitable decline, we built a plan together. Step by step, Rosa began to adopt the very habits we have been talking about: daily hydration, the use of a gentle moisturizer, short walks in the park, performing her pelvic floor exercises each night, and most importantly, creating small moments of intimacy without any pressure, like holding hands, hugging, or simply sitting close together on the sofa. The first few weeks were not easy. Rosa had her doubts that it would truly help. She admitted to me, "Doctor, I feel silly doing these Kegels. I feel embarrassed buying this moisturizer." But with unwavering consistency, her body began to respond. Within a month, she noticed a significant reduction in her physical dryness. By the second month, she joyfully told me that she had been able to laugh wholeheartedly with her husband again without any fear of leakage. By the third month, she looked me directly in the eye and said, "I feel like the woman I used to be, only wiser." What had changed was not just her physical comfort, it was her entire sense of self-confidence. Rosa started styling her hair again, wearing the vibrant colors she had always loved, and walking with her head held high. Her husband later told me privately, "Doctor, thank you. I have my wife back, but more importantly, she has herself back." Stories like Rosa's remind me of a powerful and profound truth: self-care is not vanity, it is vitality. I often use this analogy with my patients. Think of self-care as tending a fire. If you completely neglect it, the flame will inevitably die out, leaving behind only cold ashes. If you try to pour too much on it at once, like using harsh chemicals or engaging in punishing routines, you risk smothering it completely. But if you feed that fire gently and consistently with the right kind of fuel, it will glow steadily, warming everything and everyone around it. Rosa had thought that her internal fire was gone forever, but with these small, consistent acts of care, she managed to rekindle it, and that beautiful light filled not only her marriage but also her own spirit. Science fully supports what Rosa experienced. According to the Mayo Clinic, women who maintain active practices of self-care and intimacy after menopause consistently show lower rates of depression, higher levels of life satisfaction, and improved cardiovascular health. And the Cleveland Clinic emphasizes that intimacy, whether it is shared or solo, releases the hormone oxytocin, which works to reduce stress and deepen our feelings of connection. What Rosa discovered through her daily habits is exactly what the research confirms. Intimacy and confidence are not lost with age. They are nourished through dedicated, compassionate care. So let me ask you this: if Rosa could rediscover herself at the age of 69, what might be possible for you, right now at your age? What small act of self-care could become the very spark that rekindles your own internal fire? I would love for you to share in the comments what part of Rosa's story resonated with you the most. Was it her initial doubt, her quiet courage, or her ultimate transformation? Because chances are, another woman is watching this video right now, feeling the same doubts that Rosa once did. And your words might just be the light she needs to take her very first step. Stay with me, because in our final part, we will recap everything we have learned today, and talk about how you can begin your own journey toward intimacy and confidence. Starting to now, we have walked together through a journey that many women over 60 rarely get the chance to openly talk about. And I want to pause, take a collective breath, and remind you of the most important truth of all: intimacy and confidence do not simply disappear after menopause. They are rebuilt and nurtured through compassionate care. We began by looking at the common barriers: the physical discomfort that can make intimacy painful, the pervasive silence that isolates women from each other, the loss of body confidence that can cast a shadow over daily life, and the deeply ingrained belief that it's too late. These walls are real and they can feel incredibly heavy, but they are not permanent. Then we turned our focus to the solutions, the simple, natural habits that have the power to transform both your body and your spirit. Hydration and gentle moisturizers work to restore your physical comfort. Pelvic floor exercises strengthen your very foundation. Gentle movement increases your circulation and your energy. And embracing intimacy, whether it is with a partner or simply with yourself, keeps your body alive and responsive. Finally, actively reframing how you see your own body allows you to carry yourself with a newfound sense of confidence and pride. And we heard Rosa's powerful story, how a woman who once felt completely invisible managed to reclaim her body, her confidence, and her inner spark, all through small, consistent acts of dedicated self-care. Her journey serves as a poignant reminder that change is not about turning back the clock. It is about nourishing the incredible woman you are today, so that you can step into each new day with a profound sense of dignity and joy. Think of it like this: For many women, the light of intimacy feels as though it has gone dark after menopause, but self-care is the hand that gently flips the switch back on. And when that light returns, it does not just brighten the experience of intimacy, it illuminates your relationships, your confidence, and even the way you show up in the world. So here is what I truly want you to carry with you. Self-care is not optional, and it is most certainly not indulgent. It is essential. It is how you communicate to your body, you still matter, you are still worth caring for. And that powerful message, repeated day after day, is what reignites intimacy and builds an unshakable foundation of confidence. Now it is your turn. I invite you to choose one small act of self-care to begin tonight. Maybe it is drinking a tall glass of water before bed, or applying a gentle moisturizer, or doing 10 Kegels. Maybe it is reaching for your partner's hand, or simply taking a quiet moment for yourself. Whatever it is, let it be your first intentional step toward a brighter, more confident you. And I would love to hear from you. Which habit or insight from today's video spoke to you the most? And what is one step that you feel ready to take? Please share your answer in the comment. Because when you speak your truth, you do not just help yourself, you shine a light for another woman who might be struggling in silence. If this video has encouraged you, I warmly invite you to subscribe so that you do not miss the rest of this important series. In our next episode, we will be diving into the powerful connection between self-care and longevity, how the choices you make today can add not just years to your life, but more importantly, life to your year. And before we close, let me remind you that this video is for educational purposes only. It does not replace medical advice. Every woman's body is unique. If you are experiencing pain, significant changes, or have personal concerns, please consult with your healthcare provider. Your well-being deserves personalized care.